especially this month, being the last week of the month. So we're excited to see how this webinar will go, and even as we prepare for a final stretch in the month of March and probably in the month of December, even as we try to see how best we can make our workplaces better places for every one of us. So our today's topic is quite an awesome topic, and I'm really excited to see what the speaker has for us because we are talking about employee engagement strategies that work. So, what strategies are you using at your workplace? How practical are these strategies? How are you able to embed the real world insights in these particular strategies? Have you even proven some of the tools that you're using at an organizational level? And what value are they to you, to your employees, to the entire organization? How interconnectedness are these strategies, and are they bringing empowerment to the team? And do you think they're the best fit for your organization? Do you think they are catapulting your operations and just making you stand out in your operations? So those are some of the things that we really want to see how best we can make employees own up the businesses, just like the founders, how much they've owned up their businesses. How much can we transform even these organizations from an owner or a founder-led organization to even empower these employees to take up some responsibilities as though the business is theirs? How can they buy into the operations of the business and just make it have a turnaround? So these are some of the things that we want to understand, how you are able to engage employees, what strategies, what tools, what insights, what frameworks, what methodologies you think would work. And with us again, we have Wilfred. Wilfred is a seasonal trainer, and he better understands these strategies maybe more than I do. And we would like just to get to hear from him, get to see what insights he has for us. And you're just welcomed even to give us your own insights. What is working, what is not working at your workplace, what you think maybe you've not implemented, but ideally would wish you would have implemented. Just to see how it goes. So there's no one fits all strategy. We are here to learn, to get to understand how different organizations and how different people coordinate their engagement. So this basically will be one very engaging topic, and I want us to participate as much as we can. So this webinar is brought to you by ACCUREX. ACCUREX is a HR consulting company, and we do so many things other than training in the HR space. We will talk more about that at the tail end of this webinar. So how the webinar is structured is Wilfred will take over for the first about almost an hour until around midday thereabout, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the tail end of this webinar. But in between, just feel free to interject, feel free to give a comment, raise your hand, write to us on the chat box, and we'll be more than happy to get to hear from you. So, Wilfred, without further ado on my side, over to you and all the best.
Thank you, Peter. Always a pleasure to be at ACCUREX o'clock. And I'm glad that, again, we are just finishing the end of the month and again, the end of the year. Just recently, I've just been thinking, recently we were singing Happy New Year and the year has gone. And when ACCUREX o'clock started, we didn't think we are going to reach this far, but thanks to the patronage of all our team members and also the participants of these meetings, the webinars, It has been an awesome journey. Now, just confirm by thumbs up that you can hear my voice and you can see the screen that I'm sharing. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you, Anthony, Rebecca, Miriam. Yes. Great, great. And also my voice is audible. All right. Yes, yes. Pauline, Chila, thank you. Yes. Asante sana. Okay. So again, right at ACCUREX o'clock, as we like to call it, and for those of us who are joining today for the first time, my name is Wilfred Achachi, and I'm glad to be your facilitator today for again another exciting topic that we have tagged that employee engagement strategies that work. And I've learned recently that, not recently, I've learned that there is so much small things that you can do to please a human being. So you don't have to do a lot of things. And there's that small slogan that people always say is life's little pleasures, Those are the small things that matter. It may be minute, but it carries a lot of weight to a person that you get to, to experience their friendship, to get to experience the relationship that you have with a person. So again, now that we are talking about employee engagement strategies, these are the small things that we are, as Peter rightly put it, we are learning every day, and every day is a learning course. And I always like to say that learning stops when you stop learning. So when you stop learning, that's when learning stops for you. So until you are buried within 72 hours, for those of us who will be buried within 72 hours, okay, when you go down that road, that's when again you'll never learn when you are dead. So again, another exciting topic that's a bit, 2 weeks back we dealt about toxic environment. Now we are coming from a toxic environment. Now we want to lay strategies or learn about strategies that will engage ourselves at work, will engage our leaders at work so that we can all feel valued at work, we can all feel engaged at work. So probably for an opening statement, I would like to ask, what makes you engaged at work? For those of us you can feel free to raise up your hand and speak. And also, if you are one way or the other, you may not be able to speak, you can also use the chat platform. I would just like to hear a feel of the room. What makes them, feel engaged? What makes them, feel valued at work? Right? Show of hands. You can unmute if you want to speak. And again, I'll reiterate what Peter had mentioned, that we want this session to be very engaging. So there is no right or wrong in this forum. There is only opinion. So your opinion you can voice your opinion. Yes, Andrew, you raise your hand. You can speak.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning to you.
I'd say growth and learning opportunities.
All right. Yes. Growth and learning opportunities. That's good. All right.
Wilfred,
Let's see somebody.
Anthony is saying proper and timely feedback.
All right. Again, feedback is a big thing. People like feedback, especially Gen Zs. We are told Gen Zs like faster feedback. Do not restrain feedback for them so that they can keep, uh, working, or they can keep being engaged. All right. Thank you very much.
We have Paul. Paul says opportunities for growth, performance feedback, and fair compensation.
I knew that one was coming.
Fair
Yeah,
compensation.
compensation has to be there, right? But funny thing, or an interesting thing, a survey that was done by Oxford University some time ago, they realized that as much as compensation is an important aspect of having an engagement, or rather having employee engagement at work, it is not number one. surprisingly. So there are very many key things that people consider rather than money that will keep them satisfied or engaged at work. All right. So
Maybe
yes,
Washington
yes.
maybe got it right. Other than compensation, he says freedom and trust to make decisions.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
then Catherine mentions flexibility in working hours.
All right. Yeah. So very varied opinions, varied views, but again, all those are elements or all that are key aspects that we consider when we want to engage our workforce, right? So let's see, based on what we have just learned today, or based on what we have seen, let's see what are our topics today. Now, again, we'll be digging out some of those views that the participants have raised as we go along. And again, let's continue voicing them as we go along. So what are our training objective today? I think one of it will be why or what employee engagement really means, okay? And again, it means a lot of things to a lot of people. But we are just going to, explore a few things of what it means that I think it resonates to a lot of people across board. So out of that, we are going to have learned the proven actionable engagement strategies that we can employ in our work environment. I know most of the participants here are also leaders in their own organizations. And of course, the actions strategies that we'll have learned today, some of them you may know, some of them you may not know, but some of them you may need to improve on, that will enable you to have an engaged workforce, because no one wants to work in a toxic environment. For those of us who participated in that, who were able to participate in the training that were about toxic environment, we all know that no one wants to work in a toxic environment. That being said, what are the key drivers? Okay, so we are going to see some of the key drivers of this engagement. And out of that, we are going to discover how we can motivate our teams. And some of these things, as interesting as it is, as I've just mentioned that monetary or compensation is not number one, we see some of these things you don't have to even have a budget. I know many organizations, when you go to them, most leaders, they would tell you that in order for to have an actionable engagement strategy, we need a budget for that. But surprisingly to say, there are many things that we'll discover that people do. As I said in the beginning, there are very small things, minute things that you can engage with your team that do not need money, and small things that matter a lot to an employee. Again, we are going to see some practical strategies that deliver results. And out of this, we are going to see how improved communication, trust, and morale at work plays a key role in terms of employee engagement. Then we are going to see how to measure and sustain this engagement, because starting maybe, people are maybe enthusiastic about starting a program, but are somewhere along the way, the motivation or the engagement fades. So how are we going to keep this momentum going? So we're going to learn how to strengthen this retention and also performance throughout these engagement strategies. All right. So again, I would like to engage us in terms of defining. I always like to define an issue before you tackle it. So probability now, as I said, engagement means many things to many people. For those of us who are on call today, what do you think an engagement means? Employee engagement. What can we define it, or what can you define it? Show of hands. Yes, or you can also use the chat platform if you are unable to speak for one reason or the other. Winnie had mentioned about seamless communication, self and personal growth, employee respect. Yes. Those are some of the things that are key strategies for engagement, right? All right. No one. I hope I'm still audible. Thumbs up if you can still hear me. Thank you, Winnie. And since I've picked Winnie, you can tell us what you can define or what you define by employee engagement. But thank
Good
you.
morning, Alfred,
Yes.
and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
My understanding is that you involve employees in key decision making, get a feel of what they desire or what they have,
Yeah.
then you can incorporate these in your overall report or findings. Let their voice be heard in each and every aspect of the organization structure.
Right. That's good. That's true.
We have
Anybody
Mary.
else?
Yeah,
Yes.
on the chat box we have Mary. Mary says employee engagement is the relation and involvement of leaders and staff for growth and development. Then we have Washington says employee engagement is a workplace approach resulting in the right conditions for all members of an organization to give of their best each day.
Yes, I like that definition for Washington. It again just resonates to what people feel that they need to have in order to be engaged at work. Right? So let's see. All right. Now, employee engagement, in simple terms, it refers to how you, as an employee, you and me as an employee, for those of us who are employed or maybe have, some type of job, first how you feel and how you behave at work, right? Now, that is employee engagement. Now, engagement itself becomes now an action plan that keeps employees excited about their work, all right? Keeps them excited about what they are doing, just beyond what you call clocking. And I know many organizations, have put in biometrics at work. So, and I used to work in an organization where they care a lot about what time you come in than what time you go out. So, case in example, there was an employee who, and this was a senior supervisor who was with the director at the time. They were trying to work on a project. They worked until around 8:30 in the night. So this supervisor went at home, but he forgot to clock out. So it happened that in the following morning, when they were reviewing the clockings for the employees, he was told, now this such and such day, or rather yesterday, you did not clock out. So, and there was a policy, or rather, it was not a written policy per se, but there was an assumed policy that when you don't clock out, because there was a memo that was written, um, they deduct for you the whole day. It's like you never came to work. So this employee was like, I was with you. So the director told him, when you go out of your house, do you forget to lock the door? So this employee, they ended up deducting a day from this employee. Now, just tell me how that would make you feel. Because at the end of the day, he was late. You know, our brain, they are wired in a way that when you do a routine task, it is wired in a, you remember. So when this employee leaves at 5:30, they always remember to clock out. But remember, this was outside the schedule. He left at 8:30. So he forgot to clock out. But now the director whom they were with is not even considering that as a part of him being at work, and then ending up deducting from this employee. Does that play part in employee engagement? Definitely not, because I can assure you, from that day, this employee, even at he didn't want to even stay even a single minute after 5 to do work. So 5 o'clock they check out. Those are some of the things that, again, last week as we were digging deeper into toxic environment, these are some of the tests that bring out that toxicity, because now this employee will never be feel comfortable when they are working. So this action plan that keeps employee excited about work is what now translates into an engagement, and then translates into them being involved to, focus on company goals and focus on company strategy, because they know they are being valued. So let's understand what is the difference between satisfaction and engagement. Anyone would care to tell me what you feel the difference is? Again, you can use the chat platform, or just raise up your hand and speak to me. What do we understand as the difference between engagement and satisfaction? Yes, Patrick. Patrick, you're speaking. Patrick seems to be. Anybody else?
I can give it a go.
Yes, please.
I think satisfaction is the outcome of the engagement process. So if there's proper engagement, I believe an employee would be satisfied. Yeah.
All right, that's true. Winnie, Miss Eda?
My understanding of satisfaction is the end game, something that gives me morale to wake up every morning and I feel like I need to be in that place. That the push, yeah, it's a result of the engagement. Is what I'm doing appreciated? Is every discussion that we have appreciated, as in, is it put into practice? What is it that is making me wake up every day to report to my workplace? Or am
Yes.
I just going to my workplace and I'm hitting Google every day looking for a new environment? I need to be satisfied. I need to feel like I am home, I'm appreciated. My roles are appreciated, yes.
Thank you for that. Again, same sentiment as Andrew. Do you think, Winnie, do you think you can be engaged but not satisfied, or vice versa? Do you think you can be satisfied but not engaged?
Very true. I can be engaged, but I'm not there. At the same time, I can be satisfied, but I'm not engaged. Let me give a scenario where, for instance, the top management, they'll just make decisions and you are invited to rubber stamp. You've not participated.
Yes.
But okay, you're there, you're saying, okay, let me do my work, I get my pay, and go home. But at times you can also be engaged, give your input, but it's rubbished. You're not satisfied.
Right. True, true, true.
I
Yeah.
will try. We have
Yes. Thank you. Yes, Peter.
Anthony. Anthony saying engagement is the process, satisfaction is the desired outcome. Then we have Mohammed says employee satisfaction is about how happy employees are with their jobs, while engagement is about how emotionally invested and motivated they are to contribute to the organization's success. Yet, Caroline mentions satisfaction is being contented with what you do, while engagement is a continuous task. Quite varied
Yeah.
ideas here. Patrick
Yes.
further mentions engagement is just getting into the task. Satisfaction is when you get the required passion and desired results from that task. while Jerry on the other side mentions satisfaction is assurance that expectations have been met, while engagement is a commitment to keep going, even though some aspects have not been actioned yet. Yeah, so quite varied, and we are good to go. That's the feedback from my end.
Right, right, and all those are varied, true, varied opinions, but very true also. Now, understanding the difference, engagement again, it's how emotionally invested you are, how committed you are to the organization's goals. Because again, as we've been told by Winnie, you can be there, you are giving your output, but is it appreciated? Are they seeing value in what you're giving? Are they seeing, effort in what you're trying to do? So when you feel engaged, when you are emotionally invested, you are committed. And when you are committed, probability is you are going to give your full energy to what the goals are, to the success of the company. Now, feel because I'm here, the success of the company is the success of me. If the company profits, I'll also profit. Now, it goes deeper than satisfaction. Now, satisfaction in this sense, now it's first how happy. We've just been told by a participant on the call that how happy is, how content are you? Yeah, how content are you with your job, with your salary, with your with the working condition? Remember, you can be satisfied. As I refer to also the webinar we had about toxic environment. And we mentioned there are people who have shock absorber to even thrive in those kinds of environment. So them in that environment, they may be satisfied, but are they engaged? That's a different story. So you can be satisfied because you are getting the salary. So even if they don't see my output, as long as this salary is enabling me to meet my ABC needs, then I'm good to go. So an employee may be satisfied because you enjoy, being told by one participant that the flexible hours. Maybe you are in the office, you are comfortable in the office, you have a corner office, so you don't worry about other things. But you may not necessarily be engaged because you don't feel that your work is being appreciated. You don't feel that your work has impact. And conversely also, you might be highly engaged but at the same time you feel frustrated because challenging projects are there, pressure is there to meet a deadline, pressure is there to contribute directly to support, the growth of the company, and the workload is demanding. So again, varied reaction. But engagement, again, is the foundation of any performance and is the foundation of any loyalty. Why do I say that? Because an engaged employee is emotionally connected to their work. If you are engaged, you are committed. And if you are committed, again, I'll just say that you will care about what happens to that company. You will not want it to go down. So there was a TED talk that was done by, I know many of you follow, for those who follow, is a motivational speaker, is called Simon Sinek. He has even written some books. I saw one of his TED Talks, and he said there was a factory, I think it was a shoe factory that was going down. And when you are, as a company, you are faced with losses, the first thing a lot of organizations think is redundancy. But then the leaders in this company said, we are not going to fire anybody, but the restructure we are going to do is to have everyone from top leadership to the bottom staff, they will take a salary pay cut. Now, the top management will take like, say 50%, then going down that road as up to the last person. And then for 6 months, they are going to re-strategize. As they take less salary, they are going to have hands-on in terms of laying strategies that we're going to revolutionize their company. And it just so happens that these employees were so engaged in what they were doing, and in 6 months they were able to turn around the company just because they knew, if my boss has taken a salary pay cut and I'm being told I'm not going to lose my job, but I'm just going to lose a bit of my salary, but in the shortest time possible. When we do things that are right, and then we turn around this company, we are going to enjoy the fruit. So you see, the strategy they employed in this case worked for them. In 6 months, they were able to turn around the company, and it was again profitable, and people were back to reinstate, their salaries were reinstated again. So when an employee feels valued, when your employee feels trusted, becomes part of something very meaningful. And naturally, as a person, I began by saying those small things that we do not see as valuable, to me, it may be valuable. Just a pat on my back, you have done a good job. You have done this well. So it goes a long way in helping me now, okay, my output now is valuable. I can continue working for this company. I become emotionally connected to that company, right? All right, so what are some of these key drivers that help in terms of employee engagement? Number one, building trust and open communication. Again, we've just seen on the chat platform participants talking about open communication, trust, flexible hours. Those are some of the things we don't need, and you realize that something like building trust or open communication does not even need a budget for that. You don't need to go to dig deeper into your pocket as a company or as a leader of a company to start something like this. So you realize that this creates a safe environment where people feel heard. And this is more pronounced in a way that when a company is, say, for example, facing some losses, then you create an environment where, again, even the smallest employee will see things that you as a leader will not see. For example, there are very many decisions that as a leader you may make that do not necessarily mean that they are good. But a janitor or a gardener in your company will see, okay, maybe he has seen things that you have not. If he is open enough to come and give you an advice, you may see that the advice they are giving, even if you do not take it, but they might have a valuable advice that will now make you think in a different direction so that you can, have a strategy that works. So it makes you feel respected. Again, someone has just talked about respect. It will make you feel confident because you know when you share ideas, some of them may be taken up, some of them may not. But as long as they have taken that initiative to have an open communication that your ideas, you can front them, they'll be heard. Some of them may be taken. You'll feel confident, you'll feel valued, you'll feel trusted, and that again, it will keep you being engaged. And at the end of the day, as we're told that now the satisfaction becomes as a result of that engagement. When leaders communicate transparent about the goals, not just being, they go into a meeting as been told by Winnie, and then out of that meeting, they'll come and tell you, now do ABCD. I one time did a project coordination, and then where I was working, it was like the leaders will go into a meeting, and then after that, they'll just tell me there is a project ABCD we want to do, and you take the lead. And you realize that when you start gathering information, you realize that this project even started like even 2 months ago. And remember, as a project coordinator, you are supposed to process that, or rather document all these steps from A to Z, so that at the end of the project, you are supposed to even give a report. Now, you are gathering information now as an afterthought. It makes one, like me personally, it made me very frustrated, because now you are trying to run with the project at the same time trying to verify or review what went on, what was the agreement, what was the the initial engagement, things like those. So those are some of things that also frustrate. Creating a culture of recognition. Again, one participant also mentioned about recognition and belonging. How do you make sure that you belong, right? Employees, as employees, they become more motivated, more committed, when they feel seen. Again, we've just been told by Winnie that when you feel valued, when you feel seen, like even your small contribution, like for example, where I'm currently working, there is a culture that we are trying to build, and the HR has put it in a way that some of these things, like small contribution, like for example, last week there was a thank you note. You just have a card that all employees write a thank you note for one employee. So in this case, last week they did for one of the janitors, because they see how she's putting an effort to clean the office. You come in the morning, we are told that some of us come and then you'll pass a finger on your table like this, find out if it's dirty. But if it's clean, you don't even, give a thought to whomever came and cleaned that table. So just taking 1 second to write a thank you note for that person who cleaned your table, how does that person, when you give that note to them, how does that person feel? I can assure you it goes a long way in building their morale, building their confidence, and then building a supportive community of recognition, whether through, as I said, simple thank you in a team meeting. You can be in a team meeting, you can just write thank you to appreciate someone, even whatever they did maybe last week in your last project, and things like that, and celebrating the milestones, the small wins that you do as a company. Celebrating those changes behavior. All right. So at this point, maybe I'd like to engage us on a small brain teaser, that maybe you tell me a time when you felt that you are more engaged at your workplace, whether it's your current workplace, whether it's your former workplace. What made you feel engaged? And what made that experience different from others? Thumbs up if you are still together. I might be speaking alone. Thank you, Leila. Barry, thank you. Andrew, Mohammed, thank you. Valerie, Vanin. I hope I have pronounced your name right. Yes, you had your hand up. Yeah? Someone had their hand up.
I'm trying to trace who.
Or anyone can just speak if maybe that was by mistake. You can just raise again. Or you can also just again use the...
Yeah, you can use the chat box.
Yeah. I know many of us, like me, I have a lot of experience in terms of, I've been in a company where there is good culture. I've been in a company where there is really toxicity. And so I have experience in both scenarios where I can say, when the company I was working also before, the CEO there was very polite. The kind of CEO that when you have not done his task, when he comes to you or when he calls you, you will start feeling guilty even before you speak. Not frustrated, not ignored. You'll start feeling very guilty because of the way he speaks to you, because of the way he articulates his point. You'll feel you did very wrong. So I was in this position now, I was very engaged in terms of I want to give my best because I do not want to let him down. He would come to you and say, okay, I gave you this tax, where are we? What challenges are you facing? Can I be able to can I assist? All right. So if you are past the deadline, of course, there are those times when he's pissed, you know, definitely when he's pissed, you did something that is not right. But he will acknowledge that I am pissed because you did ABC, right? But at the same time, he speaks bad. At hindsight, if it was in a meeting, he will come to you and say, I apologize I may have spoken to you badly and it may have gotten out of hand. I apologize. But because of ABCD, I was angry. You see, those are the kind of people that you would want to work with, right? Anybody else? I want experiences. I know there is a wealth of experience here from various quarters. Anyone? Yes, Andrew, please.
For me, I think just like I have the same experience as you. I've worked in a toxic environment, and currently I work in an environment that has a really good culture. So I can speak on also the open communication. Like right now, even as we set our 2026 organizational goals and strategy, the leadership involves everybody and gets feedback from all employees through team clinics, through various meetings. While previously in other places I've worked, you'll find decisions are made up there and it's like they're forced down or things are
Yeah.
done quietly and then you're surprised. So yeah, I think
Yeah, it's like tasks that are being pushed down your throat. Thank you, Andrew. Right. We see now. I know many of the people on call, they can resonate to that, right? Some of the key drivers that as an open communication is very important, that you feel involved, you feel that you want to belong, you feel that, that your input is valued as much as you are just maybe a small person down the food chain, but you know your opinion matters, all right? As we continue also supporting just what Andrew had mentioned along that line, supporting an employee voice, this gives them, confidence. Again, I'll repeat the word confidence, because now you are empowering this employee. I know many organizations, they are afraid to empower their employees because they know when this employee is empowered, maybe they'll run away or maybe they'll start a competitive company, But as I say, the market is too big. As a leader, you know that you lead, uh, and by leadership, I mean empowerment, because you cannot lead people that are downtrodden, people that you oppress. When you oppress someone, they will not respect you, they will fear you. But as a leader, you want respect, you do not want fear. I've realized a lot of organizations, I'll call them bosses, not leaders, because they drive fear throughout their management, that they want the staff or the employees to fear them. When they come in the room, people will like start sitting up straight. When you are maybe on a table, you are leaning back, you will start sitting up straight, because now this will be or can be a start of an argument for some sort. Things like that. So as a leader, give employee sense of ownership. Give them trust, so that when you're giving out trust, like a task, you do not have to follow up and find out, is this person I gave a task to, are they doing it or are they not? Because you trust them enough, even if they made a mistake, you can sit down and discuss why was the mistake made, right? Give them some form of leeway, so that they have influence in whatever they are doing. So within an organization, when an employee feels that, as again I repeat uh, this one, if my opinion feels I feel my opinion matter, of course I'll give ideas. And if I give ideas, my creativity increases, because we say what you do not use, you will lose. So if your brain, you are not engaging your brain, definitely you will not have ideas. But if you can imagine an organization where we have an open communication, an employee's voice matter, then we are empowering these employees. They feel they have an honor, even though it's not by shares in a company, but they have ownership in terms of what they do. When they come up with an idea, you realize that you're going to scale up, productivity is going to go up. I remember one time during COVID, and you remember a lot of organizations shut down, and the others had to re-strategize. And that's when a lot, even webinars, trainings before COVID, we used to organize, in-house or physical. But now after COVID, there is strategy came about, and then people were able to, morph into what is happening. So I remember we used to have sprint meetings, 10 minutes every day, give ideas. What can we do? What can we study? What is the market saying? So people will give ideas. And I'm very proud to say that some of my ideas were adopted, and even they are using it up to this point, that organization, right? So if an employee would feel that, and even if you have left the employment and you realize company X that you worked for, whatever they are doing, I'm part of it, right? I'm part of it. So it will make you feel encouraged. It will make you feel honored. It will make you feel you are part of something bigger. So you have left a legacy, not just because you have, been pushed down the throat of doing something. So you become more invested, and you just defined what engagement means. Being emotionally invested in what you are doing. So you know that the company success is your success. Again, you know that empowerment boosts confidence and innovation. I've just spoken about the sprint meeting that we used to have. So you find that the innovations that were done then, people are able to use. I remember even I used to train people how to use, Teams, Zoom. I know Zoom became one of the biggest tools people used to, and people did not know even what Zoom is. So through that discussion, we say, now how can we train? We can train people how to navigate through Zoom so that they can have, as people navigate through flexibility in terms of, working remotely, they can even give reports when they are at home through meetings and blah, so something like that. So I trained a lot of people using how to use Zoom, how to use Teams, how to use Google Meet. Now it has become bigger even in the company. A lot of people, even up to now, people do not have to even go to the boardrooms anymore. I can, even in my office, we can start a meeting all across, and we don't have to leave. So that was the innovation that came then. And because we were given a chance to voice our opinion, we laid out what our opinion was, and the company saw that it was important. So what are these some of practical strategies that deliver results? Because again, you can have a strategy, but if you do not have a way to see results, it remains a strategy. It will never help you as a company. So again, before we dig deeper into these strategies, I would like to ask what we have just talked about, the key drivers of influence in terms of leadership. As a leader in your own organization, I know we are all leaders in different capacity, as I said. Which factors do you think influence engagement? Some of them you have said leadership. Some of them you have said, recognition. So what would you do, you as a leader, so that you boost your team's engagement or your team's satisfaction, and you realize when the team, rather when the morale is down? Maybe I'd have 2 or 3 people just tell us what they will do, because I know we are all leaders. So what are those strategies key drivers that you think you will be able to do in order to influence engagement? Maybe something that we have not tackled in terms of the key drivers of engagement. Thumbs up if you are still together. You can still hear my voice. Thank you, Sylvia. Winnie, thank you. Carol. Yeah? All right, so let's continue as we think. But if you have an opinion, you can just use the chat platform as we move. So one of the key strategies that deliver result is low cost and high impact recognition approach. As I said in the beginning, Brian, you want to speak? Ryan? Okay, let's move on. Okay, low cost, high impact recognition approaches. Again, as I said in the beginning, some of these things do not require even a budget. One of the strategies I'll say as an example that we've done where I am, is we are invoking like training culture. We're trying to improve the training culture within an organization. What we've done is we are trying to mold people that we think can be trainers. So this is called like interdepartmental knowledge sharing, right? So whereby now if production people will come in and talk about what they produce, how they produce, and then we'll have one person tell the others. Then for another time we'll have accounts people talk about what they do and how they do it, so that we realize that some of these departments are disconnected. Because now, for example, like salespeople go out, bring numbers in terms of revenue, and you realize collection becomes an issue, right? And then if collection is an issue, you will not be able to pay the supplier. And if you are not able to pay the supplier, they will not be able to supply. Again, it becomes like a intertwined problem. Now becomes an organization problem. Now, at the end of the day, this salesperson needs salary, but you realize that they will just tell accounts or HR office that why is my salary delayed? And then explanation will be because we did not collect as much last month. So why didn't you collect last month? Because maybe people that were sent out were not able to put the effort, or maybe the clients were having trouble in honoring their pledges in terms of payment. So you realize when a sales employee knows the collection cycle, what trouble or what issues the accountant goes through, they'll be in a position to know, or rather to understand, why either there's a delay in disbursement of funds, for example. If this salesperson know what the production person goes through in terms of producing this product, when they go out there, they'll be able to know why should I not, overpromise or underpromise? Because if I overpromise, okay, I want numbers, yes, I want to meet my KPIs, yes, but at the same time, I cannot promise your product will come tomorrow, because I know what the steps that are involved in terms of production. If they know that, they'll be able to produce. This does not require budget. If you have the head of production talk about this, if you have the head of sales talk about what they go through in sales, people will appreciate when we go out there. If I come back and I do not have a client, you will appreciate the effort that I've gone and put through. So appreciation, again, doesn't require big budget, just genuine effort, consistency. Simple gestures. I've just talked about handwritten thank you notes. It doesn't have to be, big. You don't have to buy me a present. Again, just shouting out, thank you, or shouting out, you've done well this time, or having like employee of the month on a notice board. Okay, so and so was the employee of the month this time. We appreciate for his effort he has done, so that the company has performed well this month, and so forth and so on. Again, you can have peer recognition problems where colleagues will nominate each other. Again, during COVID, one of our strategies to encourage others was doing that. Okay, you nominate an employee and then tell this employee has helped me in task A, B, C, D. I think he should be appreciated. You can even give them a certificate of appreciation. Even it doesn't have to be even physical. You can do a PDF like what ACCUREX does. After the webinar, you are given a participation certificate. It goes a long way in making you know that your 1 hour you are in ACCUREX o'clock is not wasted, right? Another thing will be these small actions, becomes big, or rather gives big outcome. And these are more so manager driven, right? Why do I say so? Because when a manager takes genuine interest in team members by checking in regularly, offering constructive feedback, we have just talked about by one participant saying, I need feedback. That is one of the things that will keep me engaged. So If you are given feedback, if you did wrong, if you did right, if you did, moderate, I need to give you feedback so that it gives you a sense of status, a sense of belonging. Where do I need to improve? Simple actions like asking an employee input in meetings. For example, I know many of us have, attended meetings where you have only one person speaking, and then you ask around, okay, what do we do? People are quiet because they realize even if I speak, my opinion will not matter. But you as a leader, as I said, this small action with big outcome is more driven by your manager rather than an employee, because they'll ask, I need your input. As your leader, I need to hear what you think are the correct strategies that you can put in place so that you can have big outcome, that you can have results that we desire. Because when we win as a whole, as a company, as individuals, right? So providing also learning opportunities. And this is one way of ACCUREX, providing you, even though you don't belong to ACCUREX. But now, by them providing you an avenue so that you can learn something new, it gives them, or rather it gives you the ability to be coming every Wednesday, because there's something that you are going to get, right? So, and it gives you, committed, emotionally connected. So it improves significantly, it improves your morale, it improves your performance, because my actions are directly proportional to what the outcome of the company is. If this doesn't happen, as again, Winnie told us in the beginning that, if I'll just be doing my work and go home and wait for end month to get salary, I'll be satisfied by that. But I know as a human beings, we are learning beings, so we do not need to be pushed around, or rather be, dormant in our way of thinking. That's why the brain keeps, evolving, right? Another one is encouraging growth, feedback, and collaboration. You can imagine if you are in an organization where they encourage you to grow, not even there are companies that they pay for their employees training, but even them encouraging you, if you have, say for example, you have seen a course that you want to do, the company will even give you 5 days off, and this is not deducted. They'll give you 5 days off to go and train and be certified in whatever it is that you want. So they are encouraging you to learn. There are other organizations whom they even pay for you to go and learn. So those are some of the things that help, those strategies that keep, engagement or the momentum going. So again, we go over this. It helps you feel valued. It helps you feel connected and challenged in your work. Because now when managers provide regular constructing feedback, and this feedback, I like to call it sandwich feedback, because when you are giving feedback, remember the impression that you give, again, it will draw down in what the employee will either feel engaged or disengaged. So I'd like to call it a sandwich feedback, in that you have to start with a positive, then you bring in the negative, and then you funica it with the positive again. So you'll tell this employee, okay, I like what your report. Your report is good, but it misses A, B, C, D. Maybe your footnotes are too big. Maybe your head notes, you did the layout wrong. But again, the positive, you cover it with the positive. You tell the employee, now you just, use maybe tools like, for example, ChatGPT to learn how to reconstruct, maybe it's a report. You give them support in terms of resource. So you finish it with a positive. That employee will leave that place knowing that even though my report did not meet the expectation of my manager, but I've left there knowing what to do next. So I've not left like being told I don't know what I'm doing. I have done, things like those. Collaboration strengthens engagement. So if you feel like even your manager is engaged with you, feels like when you are defeated with something, or something is weighing down on you, you go to him because he has an open communication, and you tell them that such and such is bringing problem, and I'd like to change it, right? So how do we track engagement efforts and track them effectively as we finalize? Time has gone, and this is a very, very, very interesting topic. So one of them is, again, involving regular collecting feedback. Feedback is very important because it will know where you went wrong, you will know where you are right, and you will know where you need to improve. One of the ways is to do pulse checks. Pulse checks are things like maybe in the morning you have, as I told you before, we used to have sprint meetings during COVID so that we're checking, okay, yesterday we did this. What can we improve? What went wrong yesterday? What can we do better? Things like that. Managers, again, this one is manager driven, having one-on-one discussions with your managers, with your teammates to understand what are we working on, what are the bottlenecks, and what improvements do we need to do. Analyzing areas like job satisfaction, communication, recognition, and development opportunities, you can take advantage and then take an advantage of this, and then make or rather strategize on targeted actions so that you can strengthen this engagement. For example, if you know your employee is engaged or doesn't like shouting, when you shout at them, they become disengaged. So you as a manager, you limit those kinds of stuff, right? You know, if I call this employee and we discuss the pros and cons of whatever strategy that you are trying to put in place, they'll be more inclined to participate. Those are some of the things that you keep doing. So that's how you can track engagement. Now, turning feedback into continuous improvement. As I said before, feedback is very important. When you give it positively, by using the PNP, positive, negative, positive, it gives you chance to, again, engage these employees in terms of they gave you an opinion and they gave you 3 opinions, but you took one and you ran with it. And that opinion has helped you in terms of company productivity, right? In so doing, then you are able to tap into their innovation skills. Because now you keep tapping into their innovation, then you realize that this employee has leadership skills, and if I engage this employee, I'll be able to even tap their skills and be able to even catapult my organization into another level, right? Show them that their voice matter. Show them that their actions play an important role in your organization strategy, and then give positive change. When you as a leader of an organization, you actively listen and respond to the employee input. Again, we go back to our beginning. We started by saying building trust and ownership and motivation. Only this comes by turning, or rather improving feedback in terms of taking it and playing it, to let it play part in an employee strategy. We've just been told here by what is his name? Andrew, not Andrew. Andrew, that where he is working, there is open communication. And if there is open communication, that means my ideas will play a part in employee engagement, right? For example, as he mentioned, a lot of organizations right now, they are doing strategy meetings in terms of going into 2026. Now you realize they don't just come up and then tell you, this is our slogan, or this is our strategy, now you go run with it. You have to know, how did they even come up with that strategy? And is it viable? And if you participated in all this, you can give your opinions knowing, okay, if we go this way, we are likely to stumble. But if we go this way, we are likely to achieve this much. All right? So this helps in terms of continuous improvement, because you know when you see something going wrong, you will definitely speak, and the company will, and the leadership of the company will listen. That's how you keep the momentum giving. So keeping the momentum alive and beyond the surveys. We've talked about pulse surveys, asking employees how they feel. A lot of companies do not even do surveys because if they do that, either people will not respond, one, or two, if they respond, they will say lies, right? I had a leader once who gave surveys and asking employees how do they feel about him. But truth be told, a lot of people did not like him. So would you, as an employee, say the truth that I don't like you? Because you know, definitely if you say that, and they are, of course, they are top leaders, they will influence your exit, right? So you will not say it. So a lot of people did not even respond to that. And the few people who responded, they told him positive things, which it's things that he wants to hear, but not necessarily the truth. But if you have a culture of open communication, they will tell you, okay, I don't like your leadership style. Maybe you try going this way, and then we'll see how we can engage in that. So true engagement is built through ongoing actions. Small things, you've just talked about them. Now, this means turning insights, the insights that you've gotten into the survey into everyday practice, like, team check-ins, recognitions, open forums where people share ideas. Those are some of the things that keep momentum going. All right? Now, with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time that you can rise up and ask that burning question. I'll take a few minutes as we wrap up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you, Peter.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Wilfred. That indeed is quite eye-opening for all of us, which again I think goes a long way in just reshaping and rekindling our workplaces, because most of the times we are joined by business owners, we are joined by leaders, and at times employees, and majority of the time they just want to make their workplaces better than they found it, better than it was a few days ago, which is indeed quite helpful. So basically, I think if I'll just give an opportunity for anyone who could be having maybe a question, as you said. But in the meantime, as we wait for those questions, please just remind you that this training is brought to you by ACCUREX. And ACCUREX, we are a HR consulting company. We've been in the business for close to 10 years now, and we've done so much in the HR space. We are consultants, so if you want to set up your HR department, we are the people to talk to. We do training like the one that we've just done today. You can book maybe a physical training, a virtual training. This will be ideally a custom-made training for your team based on the training needs assessment that we conduct. And I should mention that we do TNAs free of charge. So even if you don't want to still continue with us, if you have an in-house training department, we can still just do TNA for you free of charge, and then you'll know how now to roll it out in your organization. You do that internally, or if you have other consultants who ideally do that, at least they know from they train from a point of knowledge. So that's something that we're able to extend to all our participants. The other thing that we're doing at the moment is it's end of year. Companies are trying to do a lot of bonding, a lot of team cohesion, and they are maybe planning for team building, planning for end of year party. We are the company to look out for. We're able to do that for you, and we've done that before, and we excel at it as well. So we have our people HRIS. Are you struggling to manage your team? Are you still using paperwork? Are you still struggling to run payroll? We are the team to look up to. We have our own proprietary people system, which is able to manage an employee at their entire life cycle within the organization, from the point you express interest to hire to the point you want to separate with these employees. Talk to us, reach out to us. We're able to do a demo for you. It's a software as a service, so you pay per employee per month. It's stuck, like we've stuck all the modules together, so you don't pay per module per month. You rather pay per employee. Quite affordable, I must say. Must be the cheapest or the most affordable solution at the market currently. Are we able to support your team even in terms of just recruiting? If you're struggling to recruit like a good team, are we able to do that as well? Are we able to do offshoring for those who don't have entities, or who would maybe want some resources locally? Are we able to do that? We're able to do labor outsourcing as well. If you don't want the headache of managing labor and you want to have it outsourced, we do outsourcing as well. Just check our website, what we have in the pipeline, even in terms of the other trainings that we have coming next week. We'll have an exciting training as well. Just check out what we have. Reach out to us. Our contacts are on the website. Feel free to pass by our offices located at Westlands, just at TRV Plaza, Mudidi Road, that is. So we're able to connect with you, call us, engage with us further. And if you need a certificate for this particular training, there is a feedback form. Yes, I believe it has been pinned already. Just fill that feedback form, indicate your names, and everything that you want it to appear as on the certificate. You're able to issue that for you. So I think I don't know whether I've seen any question. How? Yes, I have a question here, Wilfred, from Vanis. Vanis says, "How do you repair trust and communication in an organization?" Catherine, yes, the notes will be shared. Yes, the notes will be shared. Thank you for reminding us. So, Wilfred, how do you repair trust and communication as we come to the tail end in like under 2 minutes?
All right. I think trust in any relationship, be it at work, be it even personal life, trust is a very key area that when it's broken, it's very difficult to rebuild, but it can be rebuilt. One of the ways it can be rebuilt is, again, we've just talked about open communication, being offering that way or that openness and being genuine about it. It depends on even how, first of all, how was the trust broken. In an organization, maybe trust can be broken for a manager. For example, there was one time Purity had told us that he was giving, a report to a manager who was supposed to be giving a report to a manager, to another manager. But when that report gets to that manager, it's like it's his report, right? It's not saying it's coming from Peter or it's coming from Wilfred. It's saying it's coming from him. But you see, me, when I'm giving my report, to go to the boss, it's supposed to say I'm the one prepared, right? Maybe he will be the one checking, but I'm the one prepared. So at the point that I'll realize that he was giving false, information up there, of course, trust will have broken in that regard. But how can I rebuild that? Of course, him coming to me, first of all, there has to be an apology. That is definite. Second, they has to show that there is a genuine concern of reaching out in terms of being open to receive communication from either side. And again, it has to be a genuine interest in trying to amend what went wrong. So I feel the key thing is here. The key thing is open communication. The other key thing is genuine interest in trying to amend the trust that was lost. For example, if it's in the workplace, if it's to do with work, for example, you have to show that you can be able to assist in those areas that you felt maybe you are not able to assist before. being open to assist in those areas will go a long way in trying to win this person over. I don't know if I've answered you correctly. Caroline also saying is asking about sharing the recording. Yes, the recording are always shared. You can go to YouTube, you'll get the past, and this one definitely it will be posted there.
Yes, for Sheila, yes, feedbacks are anonymous, so there's nothing much to worry about it. So everything that we do is quite anonymous, that I must say. Yes, please share the session recording. Yeah, this will be shared again. We do these, we upload all our sessions on YouTube. So in the event maybe it delays a lot to maybe to come to your inbox, you can just check our YouTube channel. That's where we upload almost everything. Yes, so Peter, thank you. This was a very insightful session, good articulation and great content. That's always thanks to Wilfred anyway. In the five, this is Winnie, in the five dysfunctions of a team by Philip Lincoln. Trust is the base. Once broken, yeah, that's true. Thank you, Winnie, for that. Then we have Beryl. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot. You're always welcome, Beryl. Kindly share your YouTube channel link, Jane, on the back end. Maybe you can just drop our YouTube channel so that Emmeline and the rest can have a look at it. So I think we've done a lot and we are happy that you guys have been part of this. I will want to wrap up today's session.
There is another question, Peter, I think from
All
Washington.
right. Yes.
Who asks how to create employee engagement with an aggressive employee?
Oh
First
yeah.
of all, as a leader, I would want to find out why are they aggressive. Some of them may have aggressive because either they are coming from a toxic environment, or is where they are being aggressive because they feel you are invading their space, or they feel aggressive because they know even if they let you in, you will not help much. So how is your approach to them? How do you sound genuine in trying to know what they feel? Because we say engagement is how you feel at work, right? That brings in satisfaction. So how is your approach to them?